Hey, profs. Welcome on in. My name's Rob Lightfoot, proud two-time alum of Rick Edelman College of Communication, class of 2000-2001. This is Beyond the Brown and Gold.
I'm Jessica Kennedy. I'm the co-host here, also a two-time proud Rowan alum, class of 2008 from the Rick Edelman College of Communication and Creative Arts, and 2015 from the College of Education. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM presents Beyond the Brown and Gold, a show that highlights the lives and memories of Glassboro State and Rowan University alumni. Now, here are your hosts, Rob Lightfoot and Jessica Kennedy.
Today's show features Taylor Henry, a 2018 writing arts minor in journalism grad.
And I think you're going to say, oh, that's all she does.
Well, she also has a master's.
She's also got a master's.
I mean, so many degrees from
But
Rowan.
she does more than write, right?
Right.
Right. See how we did there?
Yeah, she's the president of the Wildwood Historical Society, has previously done some freelance journalism work. She's also an adjunct professor here at Rowan.
She's got her own radio show. I hope she's not competing with us. Do you think she's trying to compete with us?
I think she's trying to take our audience. That's okay. We're going to share audiences, at least for this episode. She's an author. She has a book called Wildwood's Houses Through Time. And also, she has a shop on the board. I mean, how many things could a girl do?
It's too much. I'm actually exhausted.
You're exhausted? Well, I think that we had a great time with Taylor today. We talk about how she got into the art of preserving different architecture, what drew her interest in the Historical Society, her experiences here at Rowan as a student and a professor. And we're so grateful when our alumni can kind of come full circle and give back to current students. So Taylor, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to kick it off with a very random question. I'm going to let you pick because I think I've been picking a bunch. Let's see what we got for you.
So this is one of many things we'll ask you today, but this is the most important question we'll probably ask you on the show today. Oh, okay. This is actually going to be appropriate for who you are. What's your favorite museum?
The Wildwood Historical Museum.
All right, look at this. That was totally random.
That was really
totally
good.
random, which is fantastic because we need to talk about that in your history here.
Oh my goodness. Rob, did you plant that card?
No, it was just, you saw. It was a random pick.
I did. Yeah, I saw that.
Sure.
Wasn't that amazing?
Let me see it. All right.
See? It
Fair
says
enough.
it right there.
Do people have favorite museums?
I don't.
I mean, I've been to a lot of cool museums.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I would know.
Do you have one?
I mean, I've been to really cool, like I've been to the 9/11 museum, which was, I mean, it's hard to say that when something's like a,
Tragedy?
memorializing a
Yeah.
tragedy or a period of time that wasn't great, that it's like a great, I don't know, it just feels weird to say that. So.
Well, she knew what she wanted right away, and we'll put a pin in that and revisit that.
Yes,
because we have to come back to that comment, but we'll learn more about you first.
Sure.
Where have you been joining us from today? Did you have a long commute here?
I came from Millville, which is about 30 minutes. So it's not too bad, but it could be shorter.
Did you grow up in Cumberland County?
I actually grew up in Wildwood, but my family is from Millville. I was born in Cumberland County, and I moved back when I started going to Rowan as a student, and I just stayed there just because, I still work at Rowan, and it's a good halfway point.
And so when you are in the Millville area and thinking about schools, was Rowan the automatic layup?
Kind of. I didn't move to Millville until I got accepted to Rowan.
Okay.
But
where were you before then?
Just Wildwood.
Okay.
I went to Atlantic Cape Community College, and then, Rowan was always going to be the school that I wanted to go to. That was the only one I ever applied for.
Wow.
I had my mind set on this place.
What had you desiring to come here so much?
A lot of reasons. One is the program that I wanted to be in, the College of Communication and Creative Arts. I knew it was a very good program, and I also liked where it was located. And honestly, the first time that I came to campus, there was a Rocky Horror Picture Show performance here, and that was my first time on campus. I was still in community college, and I just liked the vibe here. I thought it was really cool that they did something like that, and I was like, yeah, this solidifies it for me.
I love that.
Was there any particular part of campus, the physical space, that kind of really drew you in when you first saw it?
Well, It was in Wilson Hall. I actually had no idea how to get here the first time. It's like before you know the campus, it's like, how do you even enter this? Like, where do you go?
Where's the entrance to this place?
The parking situation was like, I didn't know where to park. But I don't know. I thought it was like the people were really nice, and I thought the clubs that they had sounded really neat. Also, I always wanted to be part of Rowan Radio. And I knew I wanted to be part of the WIT, so going here, like I knew, like this was my first priority. Like the minute I got here, I was like, I'm signing up for training.
I love that. It took Derek calling my dorm room for me to get here.
I drag you out.
So persistent. He was like, hello, are you going to come? I've heard of you. I'm like, oh, no, I guess
Yeah, because you have a family member come here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I guess I have to come to the station. So that's so cool that you came in with the intent to join. So you got involved right away.
Yeah, I only had 2 years because I already spent my first 3 years. I was a 5-year senior, so I spent 3 years at community college. And I'm like, well, I got to make the most of these 2 years at Rowan. So I was like, minute I get there, signing up for training. Minute I get there, I'm going to the WIT's interest meeting, and yeah, I just wanted to get started right away.
And what'd you do here when you were here?
I was a daytime host for a year, and then I became the music director and host of nighttime rock show, the Nighthawk.
And you also wrote for the WIT, I'm assuming. Was there a particular area that you wrote about?
I was the features editor. I became the features editor after my first semester. And so I just mostly did like feature stories, profiles, fun stuff happening around campus. Sometimes we would go a little bit more in depth about a news story. Like I did a fun piece on the rumors that people hear around campus. Like one was, if you get hit by a car on Route 322, you get free tuition.
I've heard that one.
Have you?
That was debunked, but everyone's heard these things, and nobody really knows if they're true or not.
I'm just really hoping not that many people are getting. There can't be. We're not.
Or at least hoping for it to happen, so they get free tuition. That'd be awful.
Yeah, that would be awful.
There have been a few of those accidents since I've been here.
Now the WIT, the radio station, we don't like to pin them against each other. They both are great. But we're currently in the radio station. What was your favorite?
Leading the witness.
I think Rowan Radio was the one that I gravitated more towards. It was a little hard for me getting into it because I had been involved with radio, but always from a production angle. Like I was in an internship and I was involved at the community college's radio station, but I never was on air. So it was a little bit hard for me to get into it right away. But once I did and I graduated, I'm like, I miss radio, and so I ended up getting back into radio.
How did you find an opportunity for you to do that kind of quote unquote in the real world?
Well, one of my good friends from Rowan Radio ended up being the station manager of a station based in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. It's called 92.9 WZML. And he invited me to be a DJ, to do the Nighthawk again, and I thought about it for a long time, and I started just last month.
And are you loving it?
Oh, I love it so much. It brings me so much joy. It's something to look forward to every week. It's on Mondays from 9 p.m. to midnight.
And what is the Nighthawk? Tell me about that.
It's progressive, psychedelic, and heavy rock. So I have a large record collection that I love to share with people, and yeah, just kind of like string songs together that make sense together. Long songs, like 20 minutes long. I love that stuff.
What kind of artists, so people can maybe kind of wrap their head around? Or be known in the space.
Yeah, like Genesis, Renaissance, Yes, that sort of stuff.
Great. Grateful Dead?
I haven't played them in a while. I should.
Yeah,
Because
you
I always forget that they're considered, I guess, marginally prog.
Did you always love music growing up?
Yeah, my parents were never really into like progressive rock, but we had like Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd on CD, and it was just so weird, and I kind of fell in love with it. And then like my dad showed me Frank Zappa and Robin Trower, not realizing that this stuff was going to turn me into like absolutely obsessed with it. So now I know more about music than they do.
Do you collect vinyl too or no?
Yeah. Yeah, I have about 700 records.
Oh my
Incredible.
gosh.
Well, because it was making a comeback right now for a while. Is it still back, or is it not? Is it fading? What's the trend?
It seems to be only growing. I also work at a store in Wildwood in the summer that sells records, and they are selling better than they ever have.
Wow.
I'm really glad I got into records before they blew up and just took over. And now you can't, like the records that I got for $1 at a yard sale or like $15, you can't get it at a yard sale anymore. You cannot get records at yard sales.
What's your favorite one that you have?
My favorite record that I have?
Like, are you listening to it on a Sunday night when you're not night hawking and you're just kind of home? Are you just like throwing some vinyl on and just kind of chilling on your couch?
I haven't listened to a lot of vinyl until I got into radio. That was a lot of the reason why I wanted to get back into it, because I had all these records and I really wasn't listening to them. One, I have to get my receiver fixed. My receiver is broken, but also just like I put on the radio because I love to listen to the radio, so I'll just put the radio on and then I don't even, like, an hour's passed and I haven't had to get up and flip a record over. So anything by any Genesis album I could listen to any time of day. Like they're my absolute favorite. So like Foxtrot, that's one of my favorites.
Go ahead.
So other than the WIT and the radio station, you were going to class in between all these fun opportunities that you had. So you were a writing arts major. So can you tell us about your experience as a student in that program?
Mm-hmm. I was a writing arts major, journalism minor. It was like when I signed up to come to Rowan and I had to check a box to pick my major, I didn't really like research it or anything. I just was like, wow, writing arts, that sounds so cool. And so that's what I picked. And then I got here and I started taking, what were the classes? I didn't get to take a whole lot of core classes because, I ended up choosing a journalism minor because, like, I originally wanted to do audio recording, but I really couldn't wrap my head around it, which is weird because now it's all I do. But I couldn't get into it then, and so I ended up looking at my transcript, and I had enough. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of free credits left because I went to a community college. But I ended up being able to do a journalism minor and taking a lot of journalism classes as part of the writing arts major as a, what was it called? New media and publishing at the time as a concentration. So I ended up taking more journalism classes than writing arts. But the writing arts classes I took were fabulous. And I loved it so much that I ended up coming back to get a master's degree in writing with a lot of the same professors.
And what are some of the skills you took away from that? Because I know when I went through the PR program here for the master's program, it really kind of sharpens your writing and has you relook at the syntax you use and such like that. I don't know if you found that same.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's definitely, like, I never wrote about myself. I learned to write from the first person. I learned, in a lot of journalism classes, I learned how to be precise with my language. And I took so much from the writing arts program that my final capstone project was a book that I wrote. So that book was actually written as part of the writing arts program.
So let's talk about your book, because I have it here and nobody can see it, but it is beautiful. It's Wildwood Houses Through Time. Wildwood's Houses. That's hard to say. Wildwood's
Say
Houses.
it 5 times real fast.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. Wildwood's Houses Through Time. And you put this book together. Did you do the photography in the book as well?
Yes.
Tell us about this journey that you went on to put this beautiful book together.
Sure. I was volunteering with the Wildwood Historical Society, and they got an email from a publisher, Fonthill Media, who was soliciting people to write books about their communities. That's kind of their business model. It's similar to Arcadia, where you have very specific books about very specific places. And so I was like, this could be a good opportunity. I was just about to graduate. I was about a semester away. And so I was like, what do I want to write about Wildwood? A lot of books have been written about like the motels of Wildwood. Everyone knows about that, but I grew up there, and nobody ever really has written a book about the residential architecture, the kind of houses that I grew up in, which I thought were a very important part of the history of the island. And a lot of people didn't really know how far back the history of the Wildwoods went, like to Victorian times. So
I feel like Cape May gets all the credit for that, right?
They do, and I mentioned Cape May a lot, and how like we had at one time more Victorian houses than they did.
Wow!
But they had they were more ahead of the game. They were preserving their stuff in the 70s, and by the time that Wildwood started to get threatened with redevelopment, everyone there was like, we don't want to be Cape May, and so that's kind of why, you know.
They wanted to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, they're like the name for themselves is already there, and they should preserve it. But yeah, so anyway, they approved my proposal for the subject of the book. I went to my program here at Rowan, and I said, can I do this for my final project? Because for the final project, you can either do basically just a reflection on your learning experience, or you could do a novel approach, novel meaning new. You don't have to write a novel, of course, but you can basically create something. And so that was what I ended up doing. And I had a lot of support here that I don't think would have, if I didn't have the support here and people encouraging me to, you know, set deadlines for myself, I don't know how I would have done that book on my own.
How does one get involved like this historical society? Like what drew you as, you know, someone who said, yeah, I want to jump in there and do that?
Well, I grew up half a block away from it.
And it just drew your interest? Like, what were they putting? Like, wacky waddle inflatable tube man outside to draw people in? Or like, what were they doing? Internship here.
I just grew up going there, and my parents took me there. We learned about the history of our house. I just thought it was so cool. And I had been trying to volunteer there since high school. And I went in there one day in high school, and I said, hey, I want to volunteer. And they put me on scanning in the back rooms, and I really didn't like it.
What does that scanning mean?
Oh, you're scanning pictures in their library and to preserve them digitally. But
obviously that came in handy, because your book, it looks like each page is a historic photo of the building and then a current photo of the building. So it looks like all of that work paid off for you, right? Like you used your skill set there.
Yeah, there was a lot of pictures from the Historical Society in the book. So being a volunteer there helped me be familiar with what was available, what pictures existed of these buildings. And I also loved photography, so it was a lot of fun to go and find those buildings and take a picture of them today and compare and contrast to how they once looked. And
they look so different. As I'm paging through, it's like this one place. I mean, obviously you can't tell what colors it was back then because it's a black and white photo, but it's like bright orange and green, and it's just so different than what it
does
used
that
to
community
look like.
have like the rules that some communities have on color palettes that you can use?
No. Wildwood is
what do you think? There's a Wildwood HOA controlling the whole.
There's at certain spots I believe there is, like they won't let you like go uber crazy with your house.
There's no rules. There's encouragement to, be bright and colorful, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But there's no rules because they don't want to be like Cape May with all the rules.
Now, you said you love pictures. A little birdie who might be told me you like to take pictures of small churches.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's another thing that I do. I do so many things.
Yeah, I'm just reminding you of what you do. So tell us more about sort of that fascination, how we got there.
Well, that was another thing that came out of me being a writing arts major, actually, because I took a class, an intro to writing arts, and one of the modules in that class was I think the future of writing, and in that we were to create an Instagram microblog at the time and just follow it through. And I ended up doing an Instagram page about like all the churches in the area, because I just love stuff like that, like little buildings that are just off the beaten path. And I was already like taking pictures of stuff like that, thinking, well, maybe one day I'll do a project with this. And so I was like, this is the opportunity. I can just use these pictures and research the history of these buildings. And I still do that page. Like 5-6 years later, I still have the page, has 1,200 followers, and I'm starting to run out of pictures of churches. I need to explore some new areas of New Jersey. So it's just New Jersey churches.
That is really cool. I need it. Why don't I have cool hobbies like this? I'm just have this sitting in my back pocket, and now's the time to make
some
something
movement with it.
important happen.
Well, now maybe you'll get inspired.
What can we encourage Taylor to take pictures of?
Guard shacks across campus.
Guard shack.
Yeah, all the different guard shacks that we have. No?
Yes, that would be very interesting.
I do like that the class, though, infused that piece into the program. Because you don't think something like that they would incorporate sort of like that social media aspect of it. But it brings the curriculum more to a more practical, real life application.
Oh yeah, it was very practical skills we learned here at Rowan.
Now this Wildwood book, though, that's a pretty ambitious final project. Were a lot of your classmates publishing books as their?
Actually, no. I was the first one to publish a book as a writing arts major. So they were very proud about that, and hopefully, I don't know if anyone else has done that since then, but I guess it was a good example. Like, this is what you guys can accomplish if you really want to write something. Like, write about your local community.
Now, you're the president of the Wildwood Historical Society, so tell us about what that job entails for you.
Yeah, so that happened while I was a grad student here at Rowan. It was kind of a surprise to me that I wasn't planning on applying for that job, but there was a retirement and a desperate search for somebody new, and everyone just looked at me, and I guess because I'm so gosh darn capable. And so I was like, okay, all right, I don't really know what I'm signing up for, but I think I've grown into the role, and really what I do is I just kind of oversee things. We have a great team of people who do hands-on stuff. I kind of just coordinate and I'll do things like apply for grants or, say, hey, I think this would be a good thing for you to do. But it's a museum, and it's also an organization, like a educational organization. So there's a lot to do.
And
go ahead.
You go.
So I see people in these pictures here. Did everybody get a copy of this?
Yeah, well, they bought it.
All right, there we go. That's what I'm saying. Don't be giving it away too much. These are great pictures in here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It actually sold really well because I got the business or the building owners involved in the process.
They want it. I'm sure.
I was
Look at that beautiful yellow. Sorry, the listeners can't see, but I think you just passed this most beautiful yellow house.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I reached out on social media and said, hey, if you have an old house and you want to be part of history, you want to be photographed with your house in a book that'll last forever, let me know. And a lot of people did. And those are the people who lined up to buy the book when it came out. So sold really well because of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a great piece for them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Little coffee table book.
That's what it is. Absolutely.
See?
It's not about coffee tables, though.
No, that would be so cool. I wish we had that idea, right?
Now, you're doing some freelance journalism as well?
Not anymore, but I did used to do that. I was doing that. I do so many things at the same time. I was doing that while I was at Rowan as a student. Yeah, I did a bunch of different local newspapers.
But you do teach here.
I do now. Yes.
Tell us about that experience. What's it like to go from a student to educator at your alma mater?
It's like the best feeling ever. I really love it here. When I became a Master of Writing student, there was a program called the Teaching Experience Program, which me and Amanda were in. And you basically were trained how to teach a college composition class. And so I started there, all through grad school, I was able to pay for my own tuition with the money that I made as an adjunct professor. And then when I graduated, I continued to teach in the writing arts program, but the journalism program reached out and said, hey, do you want to teach some courses here? And I was like, absolutely. So now I teach in the two programs that I was in as a student. It's really amazing to be able to teach the courses that I took as a student. Some of them I have, but some of them are newer, but it's really rewarding.
And how have you evolved them yourself? Put your little personal touch on them.
I try to always teach my students that for anything, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I always try to give a lot of time for students to talk about things like that matter to them. I also try to be very conscious of like my students' mental health and try to be proactive if I notice somebody needs help in any way. But I try to have a focus on like what's new in journalism. So we like talk a lot about TikTok now because that's the thing. But I also like teach them how to read an actual newspaper. So I will bring the wit into class every week, and we're going to look at the paper. We're going to look at the sections, and this is how you get your local news. This is how you find out what's going on around you. They really like that. There's something nice about a tangible piece of information and to also know what's going on in your campus.
Yeah, they put out a great piece recently with the Centennial that we had a while back, so it was good.
I just picked one up.
There you go. So we have to ask this question because you're a writer. ChatGPT, what are your thoughts?
I think
we don't have any ChatGPT like loyalists, so you can totally like if you want to ram it, you can.
Sure. Well, just
I love ChatGPT.
Do you really?
I do. I mean, I like to use, like, the other day I wrote something and I just wrote it. It was something that I had to get out there and I was so tired. I couldn't summon up the enthusiasm that really needed to be like in the writing. And I literally put the content, like, you know, all of the content of my writing in ChatGPT and said, like, write this with enthusiasm, because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't put myself in that physical space, but I had to get it done. And it really, you know, there were some minor tweaks after that, and I feel like I put most of the content in, but it just gave it, like, a different feeling. So I know I'm not supposed to like ChatGPT, but... right?
It depends. It's a tool like anything else, you know, and it's kind of, we're at a scary point where it's so new that it's like, how do we deal with it? But just like any other tool, it can be used correctly, it can be used incorrectly, it can be used misleadingly, it can be used legitimately. As for teaching courses that involve it, I think that it's important to like learn about it and also like learn about the drawbacks of it. And it's not making up language. It's not writing. It's taking words that would normally be strung together on the internet. So there's an element of just kind of copying what's already there. So, you know, it's not really original, but it can also be like it can also just make stuff up.
Yeah,
which is concerning. It can make up quotes.
Yeah.
So,
but just used it as a tool though, because you came up with the original thoughts, and then she used that to amp it up. You know what's wild to me is
she's like not
really. She's not impressed at all. I'm trying to sway her to it. But
it was literally just an email. So
if it's an email,
I didn't put it out there to write a book. Just so we're clear.
Actually, Jess is writing a book called Kate Mayhouse's Through Time. Actually, that's what she's using it to write with Jess.
Well, that would be plagiarism because that's already been done.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just kidding.
Sorry.
Actually, there was a Kate May Through Time.
No, it's funny. I went out to dinner with my nephew that night, and we were on the conversation with ChatGPT, and he goes, "Uncle Rob, you know about ChatGPT?" I was like, "Yeah, dude. Like, I know it because he's getting ready to go into college." He goes and shows me. I did not know this. He opens up his phone, goes on Snapchat, and apparently there is some Snap AI tool where he said, "Do this," and it does the exact same thing that ChatGPT does. So it's that AI stuff. It was like, write me 3 paragraphs on this, and this little like broccoli-looking figure came up and wrote him everything he needed. So he if admissions are listening, he didn't apply here, but he used it for a paper in one of his classes. It was crazy.
I think at this point, like if your paper can be written with AI, it's time to change your assignments. But like I can tell when a student is using it because the language is very impressive, but it's empty. Like it's not saying anything. It's just about something. So it usually doesn't impress me, but it can be used to do things like write emails, I think. I've never used it for that.
Blessing.
Yeah.
I don't ever use it for stuff like that, but I think like if you have a very high stakes job, I mean, I can understand.
It's not that high stakes. Let's be clear. I just wanted to have some enthusiasm in my email that I could not summon on my own that day because I was very tired.
It happens.
Valid.
It happens.
You know?
It totally happens.
It's very valid.
So when you're not teaching and when you're not in Wildwood, we're not writing books, what are you doing on the side?
And DJing.
And DJ. I forgot about the
Pretty
Nighthawk.
much covers it.
Does it though? Because I heard the same birdie, not the Nighthawk, told me something different. Because the little birdie told me that you're pretty good at music trivia.
Who's the birdie?
Yeah.
Can't tell. Can't give away our sources.
So
knows?
we figured we would use this little segment
Lord.
of the show to try to give you a couple of trivia questions to see just
blushing.
how good Taylor Henry is. And if we had music in post-production right here, it'd be amazing. Like there it is.
No, you don't want to use mine, but
Okay. Yeah, we would put something in here. We could, but we can't because of licensing fees. But we're just going to go through a couple questions.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So it's not going to be like name that tune.
No.
Oh,
We need
okay.
that tune.
do you have an a decade that you feel very strongly about?
70s and 80s are good.
Okay, you pulled up 70s. I'm going to pull up 80s.
Okay.
Because 80s is more my jam.
Okay, so
So
I'm
you
gonna
start with the 70s.
I'm going to pull up some 70s stuff. Here we go. Let's try this one. This one's a layup. Which train were Gladys Knight and the Pips going to take in 1973?
Midnight Train to Georgia.
That's it. There you see. Look, these are layups. See all this little stress and nothing.
Woo-hoo.
Okay.
That's the most important part of
I
that
do
song.
love that song. I do love that song. How about which Fleetwood Mac album featured the hit singles Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, and Dreams?
Gosh darn. Rumors.
It's the best album.
It
If
is.
you love Fleetwood Mac,
That's one of the ones that I got for $1 that you can't get for less than 25, 30
are you serious?
now.
You got it for $1?
Back in the day when records were not cool yet.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, it's
They weren't cool
It's
yet.
so good. It's
They
so
were
good.
cool before they were not cool, and then cool again.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
anything, everything comes back around in 20 to 25 years.
I know. I was actually thinking that about your bell bottoms because they were very cool when I was growing up, and then they were cool in the 70s, and now they're cool again. And I'm like, I can't keep up. I just want to wear my skinny jeans.
Yeah, no, I think they're coming back though. The hippie stuff, right?
Wear whatever makes you happy. Like I wore bell bottoms and boot cut jeans when it was everyone else was wearing skinny jeans, and I didn't care.
Yeah,
Don't
all right,
care.
thanks, Taylor. I'm gonna keep
Wear what
wearing
you
my
want.
skinny jeans.
All right. How
no
about the
matter
80s?
what the people
we
say.
got some 80s over there?
I'm struggling
Okay,
to
all
find.
right.
Where did you find this?
I just kept Googling.
Oh, okay. What was the last single released from Michael Jackson's Thriller album?
Thriller?
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that
Oh, see?
strange? That was
Was
the
it really-
last single released was Thriller on the Thriller album. You think that would have been the first one?
Was it for Halloween? Was it
doesn't-
around October?
It doesn't say, but that is a Halloween hit, I feel like. Who was the singer that reminded people to don't worry, be happy?
Bobby McFerrin?
That's a good one. Because
That is
that's
a
not
good
like
one.
they have
No,
a
it's
lot
not
of
like
hits.
layup.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here's a layup one. Michael McDonald replaced Tom Johnstone in which band in 1977?
Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, look, so you knew that right away. But so music trivia is your thing, is that or?
I love trivia. Yeah, I love music trivia. I like to play Name That Tune. Like
Oh, okay.
when I'm down in Wildwood every weekend, that's where I'm at playing Name That Tune. Winning, a gift certificate if you get first place. But
When COVID happened, we did a lot of virtual Name That tunes with the radio station because we did a lot of virtual alumni programming, and that was so fun. People really enjoyed that, and there was a lot of folks on there that
I did one of them.
loved
And
it.
I got second place or third place or something.
Talk to us about being back here on campus though for like the centennial year. You soaking this all in, like it's a huge from somebody who likes history. It's a great time to be back on campus.
Yes, it's amazing. 100 years, and the oldest building on campus is still here from that year, the Bunce Hall, beautiful historic building. We love historic buildings, and I hope Rowan preserves all their buildings on campus. Let's not knock them down. Let's take care of them. Even the ones that were built in the 60s are going to be historic someday. So let's preserve them buildings.
Maybe you got a next book.
I would love to write a book about Rowan.
Do we have our own sort of like publishing arm yet or no?
We have Singularity Press, which is, I think, a publishing club that started more recently.
All right, so well, maybe Taylor, you dig there.
Could be.
Start pitching it.
Could be. I hope to maybe one day pursue a PhD and then just, be a full-time professor here and, write books and teach classes. That's the dream.
What's your favorite beach?
Ooh, see, I'm not a beach guy, but if I had to pick one, I think we went to Ocean City growing up, if I remember
You don't
correctly.
even know where you went?
No, we went because we did the boardwalk.
Okay.
We always did the boardwalk. We never went on the beach.
Okay, so Ocean City would
Ocean
probably
City was
be
like we were all these Johnson popcorn,
Yep.
walked the whole thing.
so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pork roll and cheese sandwich for
Yeah.
lunch. Always did that.
I love a pork. I'm super hungry right now. Pork roll
Yeah.
and cheese sounds amazing.
You were mentioning food before the recording too, as well.
I haven't really eaten much
Okay.
today, so I just got caught up in life, and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I should eat something, and then I had to
Are we
be
talking
here,
pork
so-
roll because Taylor No,
Oh my
no, is
God.
that not a thing? No, okay, never mind. Look, she does the music trivia thing, which is so much fun.
I know.
But I think it's really cool that she
She
has
knew a
that-
lot.
Oh, yeah. And that book that she has, it honestly has
It's beautiful. The
so many great
photos.
photos in there because you get to see the property before and after and currently what it looks like. So
I mean, the writing is incredible, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was the part she was most excited about publishing, but it's so neat to be able to see, through time how different architecture has changed and how people have maintained it. And it's really beautiful. I do encourage everybody to visit the wildwoodhistoricalmuseum.com/shop, and you could purchase a copy of Taylor's book.
yeah. And it's also, if you want to see her, she mentioned that she has this little niche Insta account, as the kids say, where she takes pictures of tiny churches, like mini churches.
Mini church.
And you can go to her, the Instagram account is Tiny Churches NJ.
You've been listening to Beyond the Brown and Gold on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM. You can find more episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms by searching for Beyond the Brown and Gold or Rowan Radio On Demand.